Hi, welcome to Sewing with Sandy. Today we're going to talk about the McCall's recent pattern drop. They were fall patterns, but most of these patterns now, it's just when they drop, they transition from season to season. So it doesn't really indicate the season that they are actually good for. You can buy some of them now and they'll transition into winter and spring and some even into summer because they have sleeveless options. So let's see what they've got. First up is 8525. It's a button-down shirt style dress. The designer is Brandy Joan, and I like the retro vibe of the dress. It's got this full twirly skirt and a very fitted bodice, a nice little collar detail that you can do in a contrast, or you could do it in the same fabric. It's listed as average, as most of the designer patterns are, because they have some details to them. This one has a bodice that's fitted, and then it has all those buttons that go down the front. So that certainly adds to the complication of things. There's a lot of little tiny buttons there. So if you're not sure about the buttons, then you might want to think about something else. You could also put the buttons on, stitch them down so they're not functional, and put an invisible side zipper in, which is I think what I might do, because then you wouldn't have the gapping. You'd have the invisible side zip so you wouldn't know it was there, but you would have that look of the buttons, like the button down, and it would look really sharp, but you wouldn't have any problems with the fabric sliding or moving around. I like that idea, and I think that would make it a little bit easier. I do have a video on inserting a slide zip, inserting an invisible side zip, so I'll link that down below. But with the puff sleeves on this, you don't have to worry about putting the sleeves in. There's no darts because it's all gathered at the shoulders. This would be a really cute dress, and I think you could take it from average to experienced beginner, and that might be something that will fit into your ability. 8527 is a pair of trousers. They're Parma plush, so I'm assuming that they'll have a lot of really good fitting instructions on the instructions, because they're known for their fitting instructions. I like these trousers. They have a flat front and a fly zipper with some pockets, but the back has an elastic, so you don't have to stress about the fit as much when you have an elastic back, but yet you have that look of a classic trouser with a flat front, and there's no elastic in the front, and nobody wants extra fabric in the front of their body anyway, so you can do a smaller amount of elastic. You don't need like super stretchy elastic that the whole waist has to fit over your hips to get up and down because you have a fly front. You just need a little bit of elastic in the back just to kind of pull it in a little bit, and it gives you some flexibility with wearing, like, oh, they zip today and they don't zip tomorrow, so the elastic gives you a little bit of leeway with that. But I like these. They've got some belt loops and the slash pockets on the side. This is a really nice trouser pattern. It also has a cuff, which is a good technique to learn. Their cuffs are in again. You're seeing great big wide cuffs on jeans and cuffs on trousers, so it's a good tool to have in your sewing toolbox. So if you ever wanted to try a cuff, this would be a good opportunity to try it. They're not hard. You just have to make sure that you have enough fabric to go up in the hem, so when you turn it up, you're not looking at a riage. And so it's something that's easy to try, and it will change your shorts. You can now take a regular shorts pattern, add a cuff to them, or any pants pattern once you learn the technique to adding a cuff. So this is a super cute pattern. 8528 is a blazer dress, and if you follow the trends, you will see all of these young girls with really great legs wearing jackets with tights or without them, and yeah, it's a jacket dress trend. So they're wearing these super long jackets. Sometimes they put a little slip skirt under it, sometimes they don't. They're a little short for somebody past a certain age, but this one is long, so it's got the style of a jacket, but it is made for somebody that wants a little bit more coverage than just the jacket going right above right below the line there, in the back or in the front for that matter. So this one has kind of this wraparound style with pleating in the back. It's got the jacket, notched jacket lapel collar. So it looks like a jacket, but yet it's a dress. It has the length. They're showing it on her a little bit above the knee, which is really a nice look. And you can certainly style this the way they're styling those jackets, with boots and socks, or boots and tights. And you would look really trendy, but yet appropriate. How's that? I mean, short of being a teenager, I'm not sure how many people can actually theoretically get away with wearing a jacket and, like, you know, underwear. You know, it just like boggles my mind. But there are people out there that do it and can pull it off. That is not going to happen here. But this jacket is a really nice option. It's got some really good fitting details. It's got fitting darts in the back, so it's kind of a fit and flare. And it has, from the darts down, it has pleats. So there's a couple of pleats in the back, so that gives you some room, and it gives it some movement. So I really like this. If you're liking that jacket dress trend, this is probably a good option to make that transition instead of just wearing a jacket. $85.29 is a sheath dress. It's a classic sheath dress. If you have a sheath dress in your wardrobe that fits you, then you probably don't need another one. But this one's got some cute details. It's made with this kind of boucle with a little ruffle on the sleeves, so that's a nice detail. But it's got a jewel neckline, darts going down the front and the back. It's fitted. It's got an invisible zipper, little patch pockets on the front. I mean, it's sweet, and the way they've styled it is really cute, and the ruffle on the sleeve is adorable. But I don't know that you need to go get a new pattern and recreate the wheel. You could make a ruffle and add it to the sleeve, and essentially that's what you have, is a sheath dress. And they have the little pockets, have the little ruffle detail on the front, the two little patch pockets. I mean, those are easy style design details that you can add to a pattern that you already have. But if you don't have a sheath dress pattern, this is good. It's classic. You can make it with sleeves, sleeveless, short sleeves, long sleeves, you know, with pockets, without pockets. I mean, once you get that sheath dress pattern done, and again, I have a sheath dress sew along. I use the silhouette pattern sheath dress. I've fit it. I love the way it fits. I can make it up lickety split. It's, you know, so I've made it a bunch of times, but I've made it in leather. I've made it in wool. I've made it in a knit. I've made it in, you know, so it's like a summer dress, like a little white summer dress that I throw on whenever I have to go somewhere, and it's super easy with a pair of sandals. But I also have a black pleather, faux leather one that is dressy and lightweight, and I pack it whenever I have to go somewhere because it looks great with tights and shoes, or it looks great with just a pair of sandals. So a sheath dress always, always, always looks good. So keep that in mind. If you don't have one, this is a good option. If you do have one, I would just take some of these details and apply them to my current sheath dress to make it look, you know, trendy, on trend. $85.30 is a little slip top. I guess that's sort of what you would call it. I'm not sure. It's made out of this, it's shown made out of this very silky fabric with the lace, which I think is really cute. Not something that you'll be able to wear over and over and over again. You're not going to get like a ton of repeat action out of that. But the top itself, it's got a high waist fit with a kind of loose bottom. I think that it would be very flexible. It'd be a good addition to your wardrobe if you're looking for something that's silky. It's rated as average. It's got a side zipper because it's fitted. It's made out of a woven, and if you're going to use a silky material, you need to be able to manipulate a rolled hem and work with the fabric. So that's why it's probably listed as average, because there really isn't any construction detail on here that is that difficult. It's got a gathered bust and a straight bottom part of the top. And then, you know, set in sleeves. So advanced beginner skills certainly could tackle this one. The tricky part about this one is going to be the fabric that you select. If you select a satin or a slippery poly or something like that, that's going to be an issue. And also it's a woven, so you need to make sure that it fits, you know, right perfectly, because you're going to be zipping it up. So there isn't a lot of ease in this dress up top. But yeah, it's cute. It's cute. If you're looking for something different and new to add to your wardrobe, it looks like a cute, fun little project. $85.31, flared jeans. I wore these in the 70s in high school. Loved them then, love them now. They have the drop waist wide, tight fitted, then a wide flare at the bottom. Perfect, absolutely adorable. Can I wear them now? No. Would I wear them now? No. But if you're of the age where you didn't wear them before in the 70s, then they are very stylish. It is right on trend. So I think they're adorable. If you're going to put some time into a pair of jeans, you're probably only going to get a season or two out of them. But if you want to put the time in, do the fly front, the waistband, the belt loops, the slash pockets, all of the whole bells and whistles for a pair of jeans that you'll wear a lot, but probably only for a few seasons, then I think this is a great pattern option. 8532 is a Mrs. jacket. It's unstructured and has a couple of different options. It has a snap front option and a zip front option. It has those accordion pockets. I'm not a fan of those because anything that makes fabric come away from your body just gives you more of a circumference. So those aren't my favorite pockets, but because why do you need them accordion? Does that mean you're gonna put stuff in them? So if you're putting your phone in that pocket, then that's only gonna make it worse. So I'm not a big fan of the accordion pockets. I would leave them off, but this has a yoke. It has a split in the back, so you have a little extra room. So if you're one of these people that put coats on and do this all the time, you might like this. A lot of top stitching, optional hood detail, two-piece sleeve. So it's well constructed. If you're looking for a little car coat, a little coat that you can throw on for like kind of the in-between seasons, of denim or maybe a flannel lined denim or I think you got some good options here, a wool, a heavy wool or like a barn cloth, I think is what I'm trying to think of, but like that old heavy stuff that we used to use to make the jackets to work outdoors in that would keep you nice and warm. So that's a cute option. It's a jacket. It's not my favorite, but I think it's out there. Obviously, people like that style. It's very unisex style. So, and I think if you like to wear that kind of straight boxy style, this is probably a really good pattern for you. 8533, so cute. A whole pile of Boleros with lots of piecing detail, lots of fitting detail. They're really cute, big, wide collars. I mean, they do this one with a stripe that really is striking. You have to miter all those stripes. These are all pieced together. So the stripes are all pieced together. It's not a striped fabric. And then, they're all just multi-piece. So I'm looking at the line drawing, and I'll put the line drawing up here on this one towards the end because there's a lot of piecing. I'm looking at the longer jacket. So the back has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces just in the back. So there's a center back, there's a center side back, a middle side back, and then a side back. So that's the center piece, and then 3 pieces going all the way out around. So you're going to have a lot of fitting, a lot of stitching. It doesn't look from the line drawing like it's top stitched, but I suppose one of them is, the short one is top stitched. So you have that option. And then the collar is all mitered, so those are all pieces. The sleeves are multiple pieced. A lot of piecing involved in this one. It's really cute, but it's going to take a lot of time, and you have to be super precise with this, especially if you're using like contrasting stripes like the black and white one. You have a little bit more forgiveness if the jacket's all one color, but if you're going to use those stripes and miter the collar, and you have to be like spot on with everything. So this one is listed as average. I would say it's more advanced, but I didn't rate the pattern. I would think twice before I bought this pattern to make sure that you really want to spend all of that time. I see a seam ripper in your future if you buy this pattern and try to make it up for the stripe. It would be in my future for sure. All right, 8534 is right out of the 70s. A halter jumpsuit with a flared leg, fit to within a T, because it's a knit, so it is totally fitted. It says it has an elastic waist, Yeah, elastic at the waist. So it's one of those things that you want to carefully think about when you're fitting it, because the top, there's a seam at the waist. If you're really tall, you want to make sure that you have enough length there, and that because that's sewn together, you have the option of making that longer or shorter. But I think that you really need to think carefully about that. Same conversely, if you're short, you don't want to have that extra fabric floating around there, and you really don't want to make that adjustment at the waistline. There's a lengthening and shortening line lower than the waistline and above the waistline. So either measure very carefully or make a practice garment. You could make it with just the short, like make it shorts and make it a unitard, or just make it a throwaway, whatever. It doesn't have to be the whole garment, but you want to make sure that you have that crotch to shoulder length correct, because you don't have a lot of leeway there. I mean, you can adjust the straps a little bit and that'll give you some flexibility, I suspect, but it looks like they're pieced at the shoulder. So the halter has a piece at the back. So you have a little bit of flexibility there, but not a lot. I like it. I think it's really cute. And if you like to wear retro and you have a place to wear this, go for the gold lame. Hey, life is short, wear the dress. I'm all for it. So it's fun. It's out there. It's out there. 85.35. I picked this one up. It is a robe and a nightgown. I like the long robe and the short nightgown. So I've ordered some fabric from Mood for this. I think it's adorable. I had a hard time finding the really long lace. I think it calls for like 18-inch lace or something. It was really long. Maybe it was 16-inch. But I think I'm just going to make the sleeve a little longer. I have some shorter lace that I can put on it, like a 6-inch lace. But I love working with lace, making slips and working with the silky fabrics and making nighties and stuff. So this will be a fun little project. There isn't a lot of detail. It's got set-in sleeves, got a little bit of tucking in the back, but the bottom of the robe is gathered, so that's not a big deal. The short slip version, again, is not that difficult. You've got some Rolo straps and a gathered bodice and a slip skirt with the lace attachment. So it's listed as average. I found some really cute fabric that I'll be doing a sew along for this one, so you'll see it. It'll be coming up in the winter edition of my makes and plans. It's actually in the plans pile right now. But yeah, I really like this pattern, and I'm in the market for a new robe. So this is really cute. All right, 85.36. I love that they're making more patterns for men's clothing. It's long overdue, and these super wide leg cargo pants are really hip, and I love them for the younger set, and they're the ones that are sewing. I mean, men my age in general aren't sewing, but when I'm teaching classes, I see a lot of men in their 30s and 40s are taking classes because they want something that's stylish, but they want it to fit the same reason that we sew. And they also have that creative outlet, and they want something that's uniquely their style. So I love these. I love that they're short. They come in a kind of a short, long knee version, and then the full length with the stitching around the bottom. There's lots of details in these. I think that these are just really cute. The great big pockets in the back and the huge pockets in the front, and then the cargo pockets on the side. I really like this pattern, and I'm really happy to see that they're branching out and adding more menswear that's stylish and trendy. So we need more of that. 1 or 2 pieces are not enough. We need more. All right, speaking of more menswear, 85.37 is for little boy. I actually picked this up, and I'm going to make this little green vest version for my grandson. I have this, I'll have to look up exactly what the weight of this fabric is, but it's from Minerva, and it's like a raincoat fabric almost, but I don't think it's like fully waterproof. And then I have this really cute ribbing that matches, so I'm going to use that to make this little vest for him. He will love all the pockets because little boys don't care. That's what they want. So this is a really cute vest. There's a nice kind of preppy shirt to go with this, and also a button down. So I think that if you sew for little boys, there's some variety here. There's a lot of good options. And the little button down shirt, I mean, every boy needs a little button down. They just look so cute when they're all dressed up and, you know, with a little boy's regular haircut and a little button down shirt. Oh my God, you want to melt, right? So love the fact that there is something in here that I can sew for my little man-child. Now 8538 goes for the little girls, and it's this really cute cape. Capes are wonderful. They transition from season to season, and a lot of times now with, you know, car seats, we're not putting coats on kids when we're warming up the car, and the coats are slippery with the car seats. So a cape is easy to get on and off. So you can take it off and get in the car seat, and then when you get out of the car, you can put the cape back on. This one has some really cute options because it's got that overlay, so it's not just a big circle cape. There's actually, like, I want to call them kind of sleeves in the front. So yeah, I mean, it's got the side button, so it's got this raglan style with a little collar option. Very cute for a little girl, and lots of really cute options. And I don't imagine this would take a long time. It's listed as easy, so you can probably make this up in an afternoon. I think the most difficult thing might be putting the buttons on one of those little raglans, and that would be it, because it does have the buttons to close it. I think that would be it. And you could find an alternative to that. You could put a zipper on there if you didn't want to do buttons. I know a lot of people have an aversion to buttons and buttonholes. I have to tell you, once you get a good machine that does buttonholes, that you'll be sailing through them. You'll be making more blouses than you'll ever need in your entire life. So think about that if you have a phobia of buttonholes. 8539 is another retro style dress. This one's a 1980s Laura Ashley. You can see it in like a chambray or a little ditzy print. It's got some pretty detailed styling because that is, you know, the way the dresses were made in the 80s. You have that very fitted top with the big hoopy, you know, twirly skirt. This one has a shawl collar with a sweet little bow, short sleeve version or sleeveless version. So, I mean, here this came in their fall pattern drop, and this is clearly a summer dress or a spring dress. It's something that you're going to want, because you have that big shawl collar. It's really hard to put a coat on over it, or like a jacket. I mean, you could put a winter coat on it, but then you're still chilly when you get in the house. So I'm rambling, but it's a cute pattern. It has princess seaming on the top and the skirt, because there's a lot of fabric on that skirt. You want to get that vintage style, you want it very twirly. Yeah, I think it's a really sweet dress. You probably would want to make a muslin of the top piece because it is really fitted, and it has a zipper, a side zipper. So it's pretty classic. I mean, that is the way that the dresses were for the longest time, with the zippers up the side. So yeah, it's really cute. If you're into this kind of style, I think it's a really cute retro vintage style look. 8540 is another Laura Ashley vintage 1980s look. It's the sailor top, and again, the full skirt. This time it's two pieces. So you have this really cute dirndl style skirt with a waistband that has a little point in the front. So it has a very interesting detailed waistband, and then kind of this cropped sailor style top. It's very cutesy. It's very 80s. And again, there's a lot of work involved in this. It's listed as average, I'm going to say. It's listed as average. It is a designer pattern, but it's not the kind of dress that you can make and wear everywhere. So you have to think about what you need in your closet. I mean, a sheath dress is going to be a pattern that you can make over and over and over again and make it modern, yet it's classic. And you can make the same pattern over and over and over again and get different looks with it. Where this is a one-off. You're going to buy this pattern, you're going to make it once, you're probably not going to make it a second time. So depending on where you are in your sewing desires and what you actually need in your closet will make a determination on whether you want to spend the money and the time on something like this. That honestly, for me, it borderlines on costume. I mean, it's a little out there. You know, you'd have to have just the right place to wear it. Cute, but out there. They're just going all out with the vintage, the 70s and the 80s. Here we have a jacket pattern from the 80s that's very vintage looking. You know, it's like those sleeves. Does it have padded shoulders? A full-length sleeve with a gathered cap. Stand-up collar, pressed pleats, front button closure, reverse and decorated flaps. Whoa. Stitching, trim, hat, peplum. This is a lot. There's a lot going on here. So you have the one with the little frog closures, which is really cute. You have a notched collar on that one with the princess seaming and the peplum and the big puffy sleeves. It's a very specific look. It's a very specific look. The other version doesn't have a full-on peplum. It has like peplum pleats in the princess seams and the side seams. That's kind of cute. They're almost like godets, little godets on the side. And these are all drawings. Oh, that drives me crazy when they do that. They're all renditions. We don't see the jacket made up on a real person. And it's very fitted. So again, you're gonna have to like play with this and make sure that you like that, you know, dynasty, big shoulder, puffy sleeve kind of look, and that the princess seams are fitted like to a T for a jacket. 8542, McCall's is really going all in on these retro vintage patterns, right? This one's 1970s, and again, it's just illustrations on the front. I really would like them to see them make it up, and just like, even they could just insert a little photo on the front of it, because I know that's the way the pattern cover looked in the 1970s, but you know, it's not the 1970s anymore. They have the capability of having it made up and putting a picture of a real person wearing this. However, that being said, this pattern is probably more accessible to the average sewer and makes more sense because the pieces have a little bit more, they have some options, right? The skirt isn't a full-on dirndl skirt. It's more like a tulip skirt. It's an easier pattern. The pants don't have a fly front. They have a nice little back zip, so they're really kind of fitted with that beautiful little flare at the bottom. The top is a jacket with a yoke. It's got sleeves with a cuff and a belt, patch pockets. So it's pretty simple, straightforward. You know, if you're looking for something that's really 70s, but you want it to transition into your everyday wardrobe and get more use out of it, this might be a really good option because you could make those pants, which are very trendy and super hip, but you can add them with a little tank top and a cropped jacket, and you'll have that 70s vibe without looking costumey, you know? The skirt, same thing. The skirt with a really nice pair of modern boots, pointy-toed boots or something, and a really pretty blouse with maybe a sweater over it or something, you know, without seeing it. It's long, it's short, you know, you could style it a lot of different ways. You could make it out of a fabric that looks like some of these slip skirts that they're making and kind of get that feel, but yet have a 70s vibe. So this pattern has a lot of options as opposed to the sailor pattern from the 1980s, which is like a one and done, or the lame jumpsuit from the 1970s. I mean, once you make that, you know, you can't wear that every weekend. These pants you could get away with wearing to a dinner, like if you're going out with your friends, or you could wear them to a party, depending on how you make them up and what fabric you make them up out of. So I think you get a little bit more option here with this one. Wow, that was a lot. So that wraps up all of the McCall's patterns from their latest drop. I have two that I'm going to be doing sew-alongs with my winter edition. I have this little jacket for my little grandson, man-child, and then this robe and nightgown from the McCall's pattern section. So until next time, happy sewing. Bye.